How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's get right into this review and see what I saw. So welcome to another awesome movie review from the Cyberneticshark, folks. Oh yeah! So, about a week ago, I had the chance of checking out a new movie that just came out in theaters. And is a awesome and amazing flick. It is a third and supposed final film in this trilogy of film series. Now, the film series I'm talking about, of course, started with the awesome movie from 2000 called Unbreakable. So, with me saying that, you're probably going, I know what he's talking about. He's talking about Split, aren't you? No! Split is in this series, but this is not the movie I'm talking about. Anyways, the actual movie I'm talking about is the awesome new film, Glass. Oh yeah. So Glass is getting a lot of bad and negative reviews from the critics. A lot of the critics aren't loving it, but I'm hearing and reading people's reviews of it, and they absolutely love it. Think it's a fantastic film. Now, after seeing it myself, I was kind of like, this is a good movie. This is really well done. It's an interesting way of going with this trilogy. I didn't care for the ending, though, unfortunately. So that was kind of a letdown for me. But other than that, I thought the movie was really fantastic. Now, Glass, if you're not too familiar with, is, like I said, is the third film in an awesome series that started with, of course, the Unbreakable film from 2000. And then also is a sequel to the Split film that came out in 2016. Or actually didn't come out in theaters for us until in that time frame. Now, this awesome film has a great cast, amazing and just awesome special effects, and a really cool way of looking at superheroes and villains, basically. But this film just was really interesting and intense, and it's intense from get-go to the end. I mean, you're like literally on the edge of your seat this whole film, so that was pretty good and really well done. Now, this film was directed none other by the director of the other two films, Mr. M.Night Shyamalan. Now, M.Night you might recognize as the director of films such as Signs. You might recognize him as the director of The Last Airbender. You might recognize him also as the director of an awesome film that a lot of people love, The Sixth Sense, that also starred Bruce Willis. Now, M. Night Shyamalan, I thought, did a fantastic job with directing this. He really brought it all together. He really wrote it that was very successful, very well, just engaging and bringing the whole story kind of to a climax, pretty much. And I mean, this film really felt like it was just an extension of the film Split, really. And I thought that he did a really good job with that. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed that M. Night directed are such films as the awesome film that came out in 2006 and didn't get a lot of... It was probably one of the ones that was kind of considered the decline of M. Night's kind of like hiatus from really good films of him directing. And that, of course, is the film starring Paul Giamatti and Bryce Dallas Howard, Lady in the Water. Oh, yeah. So Lady in the Water is a decent film. I think it's really well done. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool kind of bedtime story take on like a fairy tale, basically, coming to real life and stuff like that. And I thought that was just really cool. And I loved all the special effects in it. I thought that everyone that was involved in it was really amazing. And I thought Paul Giamatti did a great job of leading the film and giving us kind of an interesting and cool, like I said, fairy tale story that, is something that, like, you might be telling your kids at night, when you tell them a bedtime story type of deal. And that's what this kind of movie felt like. I know that a lot of the critics didn't care too much for it, but I thought that it was a really fun film. Really interesting, really well written and crafted, and I thought the visual effects were pretty decent for its time. It was a really interesting film, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's worth the watch. It's pretty interesting and fun. Lots of great, cool fairy tale and kind of like mythological creature type of deal. Really cool and really liked it. Now, the other film I really enjoyed that he directed, and I think is a really fantastic film, is one that the critics praised, and I thought it was a decent film. I thought it was really good, but I thought that the ending kind of sucked on this one, too. And unfortunately, I just thought it was kind of a letdown from what it could have been, or, it just wasn't as, like, great and grand of an ending that I thought it was going to be. Because there was so many other things going on, people suggesting, oh, it's going to be this and stuff. So it was kind of a letdown because you were kind of thinking, oh, maybe it is this, or maybe it is this. And so that kind of happened with this film, unfortunately, when it came out. And that, of course, is the film called The Village. Oh, yeah. So another great film, written and directed by M.Night Shyamalan. This movie was really fun. Bryce Dallas Howard was in it again. John Hurt was in the film. It had a great cast, and it was a really cool and awesome concept. And it just was really well done. I loved how it had that very period-filling piece to the film that it was supposed to be like back during the time of, like, say, the Pilgrims, that type of era. And I thought that they did a great job of keeping the ending a very good mystery throughout the whole film, because you really didn't know what was really going on. You didn't know if these creatures that you're supposedly seeing were real or not. He did a really great job of keeping that under wraps as the film progresses, and there wasn't really any like clues that he kind of stuck in there, like, Easter eggs or anything that made you think, oh, maybe it could be this or it could be this. I thought that he did a really good job of bringing that film and making it as suspenseful as it was. Really great film. If you haven't had a chance to see it, definitely check it out. Worth the watch, people. Really fun and very interesting film. So like I was saying, I thought M. Night did a really great job of writing and directing Glass. I thought, like I said, he brought it to a great conclusion, that he gave us, what we've been waiting for the last 19 years, really, to see Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis again, bring back these characters that they made so prominent in the film Unbreakable. Nobody really knew that Split was a sequel to that film. That was great new kind of like way of reintroducing those characters after so many years, and putting together this combined craziness that of the character of Mr. Glass, what he was trying to do and try to bring out and let people know in the real world and stuff like that. It just was a really well-rounded trilogy, and I thought that this film just was a really great ending cap. Besides the ending to the film, that was just really interesting and a very great and fun directing, outing for Mr. M. Night. So that brings me to the awesome cast of this film. So we have a great cast. A couple honorable mentions are, of course, Sarah Paulson and, of course, Anya Taylor-Joy, who are both in the film. This is the first time that we're seeing Sarah Paulson in the film series. This is the second outing for Anya Taylor-Joy, who we saw in Split. She's reprising her role of the character she played in Split. But, of course, that brings us to the awesome main cast. Now, the awesome main cast, of course, consists of just great players, great actors. All of them are so amazing, each of their right. Each of them possess great, comedic and serious, films, action star type of deal. And these guys were just so fantastic to put together in a movie, and I was very pleased to see them together, and they worked so well together. Now, to start us off in this awesome cast, we have none other than Mr. Glass himself, Mr. Samuel L. Jackson. Now, Samuel L. Jackson you might recognize from a slew of films over the last, 20 to 30 years. You might recognize him from the film 187. You might recognize him from, of course, films such as, Django Unchained. You might recognize him from The Hitman's Bodyguard. You might recognize him from all the Marvel films, playing Nick Fury and so forth. Now, a couple films I really enjoyed him in and thought he was fantastic in were none other than the awesome also outing with Mr. Bruce Willis back in 1995. And that, of course, is the awesome film Die Hard with a Vengeance. Oh, yeah. I absolutely loved Sam Jackson's character in that film. He was so stinking hilarious and fun. He played it to the T. It just was so stinking awesome. Really shows how great of an acting talent he had, and what he would bring eventually to Unbreakable and to Glass. And it was a great, just performance by him. He worked so well with Bruce, and they play off each other so well in the film. And Sam Jackson was just that perfect, character type from that area. in New York and stuff like that, and just like how he was, and like how he just brought that character, like he was just a normal dude off the street that got stuck with this New York cop basically, and he worked it so well, and he was so comical in the film. Some of his lines in the film were so stinking funny. And just so fun and hilarious, and worked very well for the film. Really enjoyed him the film, and if you haven't actually gotten seen Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is Die Hard #3, definitely check out, people. It's worth the watch. A really amazing film. I think it's one of the best of the Die Hard series. Well, my favorite actually of the Die Hard series, and just a really fun film. So that brings me to the second film Mr. Sam Jackson is in that I really enjoyed. Now, this film came out in 2014. It's just an awesome series that they've put 2 films out of it so far. Supposedly a third one is coming soon. And it's just a really awesome and action-packed series that has so much great acting, so much great action, CGI work, story. It's an amazing series, and kind of like, a great new dawn to kind of like bringing back James Bond type of deal, kind of secret agent type of people. And this film series is none other directed by Mr. Matthew Vaughn as well. And this awesome film is Kingsman: The Secret Service. Oh yeah! Absolutely love Sam Jackson's bad guy character in this film. His lisp in the film was so perfect and hilarious. He worked so well in the movie. He was so perfect. That eccentric kind of crazy bad guy villain type of character. And he had some great lines in the film. His outfits in the film were so cool too as well. And just his whole persona in the film was like so perfect and a great villain for the film. And he worked so well with everyone else in the cast, between Colin Firth and Taron Egerton, Mark Strong, and so forth and stuff like that, Michael Caine. They all just worked so well together. And Sam Jackson's bad guy character was just so stinking funny. And especially when he talked with that lisp, or he said sort of things like "biz" and stuff like that. Oh my god, it was so stinking funny. It was absolutely perfect, and he was so good with Sophia Boutella too as well, having her kind of be like his right-hand man kind of character, and they worked off each other so well. Beautiful performance by Sam Jackson. I wish he got more recognition for that role, because it was such a great role, and in such a great movie too. Really enjoyed that role by him, and it's probably one of my top 10 favorites roles of his, of all of his films over the years. Such a fantastic role, and really great. Now, when it comes to him bringing back and reprising Mr. Glass from Unbreakable, that was really awesome. It was nice to see him again as that character. It was so funny kind of seeing him kind of age. It made him look like he was 20 years older, of course, compared to how he looked in Unbreakable. And it was just really nice to see him kind of show his superpowers, basically, as a villain, and how smart and intelligent he was. And what else he actually put together to prove that superheroes and villains were real people in real life. And that was, one of the great directions and writing that M.Night did for this film series. And he wrote Mr. Glass so perfectly, and Sam Jackson just brought it to life and did it so well and so awesome. Really great performance by Sam Jackson in this film. I was really impressed with it, really enjoyed it, and thought it was a great performance. And a great addition to that film series. So that brings me to the second awesome actor on this roster, of course. And that, of course, is Mr. Unbreakable himself. Mr. Unbreakable, Mr. Superhero, Mr. Best Guy from Unbreakable, Mr. Bruce Willis! Oh yeah! So Mr. Bruce Willis came back and the star as Mr. David Dunn again, as the super awesome superhero of Unbreakable. We got to see a brief glimpse of him at the very end of Split, and was just a great kind of teaser letting us know that this was part of the Unbreakable universe. So that was really awesome to see that at the end of Split, and that the Glass came about and became the awesome end to this awesome trilogy. Now, Bruce, of course, brings back David Dunn, brings him back just as he was. Awesome character. He's also aged as they've made him look. It's awesome that they brought back the original kid that played his son in Unbreakable, playing his son again in the film, and they kind of working together as like superhero and sidekick type of deal. And I thought that was really awesome, and I thought Bruce did an amazing job playing that character again and bringing us that great and awesome, kind of conclusion to that character as well. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed Bruce Willis in that I think is another great way of showing his great acting abilities. Now, one of the films I really enjoyed him in was an awesome film that is just a really great Disney film. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, super funny, showed his acting comedy chops in this film. It just was a really fun, awesome kind of like family-oriented type of film. Had Emily Mortimer in it, it had Spencer Breslin in it, had Lily Tomlin in it. It just had a great cast and was directed by Mr. John Turteltaub. And this movie just was so stinking funny. I absolutely fell in love with it, seeing it in theaters back in 1999. And I just thought Bruce was so awesome in it. And then, of course, the film, Disney's The Kid. Oh, yeah. Now, I don't hear a lot about this film because I think it's one of Bruce's best films. I really enjoy his character in it. I thought he was fantastic in it. And I really I really feel it showed how much of a great comedian he could be too, and kind of family oriented kind of slash not just macho action guy character. And I thought they did a really great job with that, and that he did a great job in acting in it. Now, if you're not familiar with that film, basically it's about this story about it's about Bruce Willis and how his younger self all of a sudden appears to him and has come back for a reason. And he has to, throughout the film, try to figure out why his younger self has come and like what happened and like really how to get him back to his time, basically. And so it's kind of a cool kind of time travel type of deal thing slash kind of like past and present helping each other type of deal. It's just a really fun film, and Bruce was so amazing in it. I highly recommend seeing this film. Definitely check it out for Bruce Willis because he was just so awesome in it. Really awesome film, really well done, and really great acting job by Mr. Bruce Willis. Now that brings me to the second film, Mr. Willis, that I absolutely enjoy. That is an awesome and amazing film. Oh yeah! Now you're wondering, what could this be? Could it be an action film? Could it be a drama? Could it be Color of Night? No. Good movie, though. Could it be Striking Distance? No. Another good movie, though. Could it be another Die Hard film? Nah, I already talked about Die Hard. Meh. No, I'm talking about another awesome comedy film. Yeah. Starring the great Matthew Perry from Friends in this film. Now, this is the second film in this film series, and I absolutely thought that this movie was such a riot. Oh my gosh, Natasha Henstridge was in it, who is gorgeous, by the way. Yamada Pete, another gorgeous actress. This movie just had a great ensemble cast. It was so stinking funny, and just has a great all-around vibe and feeling and just funniness to it. And that, of course, is the awesome film called The Whole 10 Yards. Now, this is a sequel, like I said, to the film The Whole 9 Yards. Now, the sequel I thought was better than the first one. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was super funny. I loved that they, had such a great cast of characters in the film. A lot of great comedic actors and so forth. And just Bruce's comedy timing in this film was so stinking hilarious and so perfect. So stinking funny, really well done, and just a really great performance. And it was so good. I know the critics tore this film apart, thought it was horrible. I think it currently has like a 12% Rotten Tomato rating on it or whatever, but I thought it was a great film. I think it's a lot better than what the critics said. I thought it was a perfect gem comedy type of film, along the lines of the stupid type of comedy films like Airplane and stuff like that. It was that kind of funny comedy with some great performances by great character actors. And it's a fun film, and Bruce really brought the comedy game to it, and I really enjoyed seeing him do that, which I think he's really good at. And so I really enjoyed him in that film, and it's just a really fun film. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a try, people. It's worth the watch. Really fun. But like I said, I thought it was, with his, performance in Glass, giving us kind of the conclusion to David Dunn's character, like I said, was a great conclusion. But at the same time, I love the action sequences that he participated in the film. I thought that his fight sequences with James McAvoy were so awesome and amazing. He really brought a great new sense to David Dunn, kind of what he's been up to the last 19 years. how much he's changed, like his mentality and his thinking, and just like where he's gone from the end of Unbreakable to to being in Glass, 19 years later. He did such a great job, a really great, amazing performance, and looking forward to more of that. And hopefully, maybe they'll bring back these characters again. Maybe M.Night will do another sequel, hopefully, and that would be really awesome if it did. Even though how this one ended, you might not know how it ended, but you never know what could happen. It is the movies. So that brings me to the awesome third actor in this awesome film that I think was fantastic, a great addition to this film series. Was so happy when they brought him into Split. Split was such an amazing film. He really showed how great of an acting chops he has. I mean, from previous movies I've seen, this actor in, he just is an amazing actor anyways. But this movie really showed how amazing he is and how talented he is. And that, of course, is Mr. James McAvoy. Now, James McAvoy, you might recognize from a slew of films over the years. He's done a whole bunch of films, so many different films. Becoming Jane, Atonement, so many films, so many crazy films, a lot of British films and stuff like that. He was in Atomic Blonde, just a master of many faces, I feel. Now, a couple of films I really enjoyed him and thought he was fantastic in was none other than the awesome film series that Marvel and Sony brought to us in 20th Century Fox, where he brought the original characterization done by Patrick Stewart to life as a younger version and did an amazing job, and what I felt embodied Patrick Stewart's younger self. And that, of course, is the awesome X-Men series that started with X-Men First Class. Oh yeah, the X-Men films. These movies were just so awesome. Another film directed by Matthew Vaughn, FYI. But this film series was just so awesome, from First Class all the way up to Apocalypse. Definitely Days of Future Past was the best of the series, I feel. But McAvoy was just so awesome at being Professor X and showing his origin story, how he lost his ability to walk, and how he's become the smart and intelligent and super sophisticated Professor X he is, as Patrick Stewart is in the original X-Men films. And just how he really has, what his trials and tribulations were. And McAvoy portrayed that so well and so amazingly and gave us a great backstory to Professor X and who he is. And just, what he went through, like I said. It was just a great performance by him. Really recommend seeing these films if you have not seen them. Great film trilogy. And just a really fun role that McAvoy has done that shows his great acting chops. So that brings me to the second awesome film that Mr. McAvoy was in. Now, this awesome film stars Angelina Jolie and is based off of a comic book series, if I'm correct, or an animated magazine or some sort of comic book of some sort that I believe that this movie is based off of. Now, this awesome movie was just really cool. I mean, the whole idea behind it was really awesome, very comic book-y. It had a lot of great action sequences, a lot of great acting by everyone involved, lots of just great performances by everyone involved. Now, this awesome film happens to be and has come from 2008. It came out. That's how old this film is. That's so old, right? Yeah, no. 40, 50 years ago is older. Anyways, so this movie from 2008 is none other than the awesome film Wanted. Oh yeah! Wanted. So this awesome film, like I said, is just a really awesome action film. Lots of great action sequences and all kinds of cool stuff. And James McAvoy's character in the film is kind of like the main protagonist type of character in the film. And he has to learn how to become this certain type of person, really. And kind of like how he becomes, entangled in this whole craziness. And he has to become friends with Angelina Jolie's character and all this kind of stuff. It's just a really awesome kind of action film, like I said, based off of a comic book. McAvoy, I thought, was just so awesome, and I really enjoyed him in it. Thought he was superb and really awesome. He was great in the action sequences. He was just really funny too in the film and had a lot of great one-liners and stuff like that. Just a really great performance and one of my favorites of his, and why this movie is kind of one of my favorites of his. It was really well done. I really enjoyed it, and I wish they actually had made a sequel to it because it was such a great film series. And film, or I should say film, not film series, but just a great idea and awesome concept. And it had a great cast too as well, but McAvoy definitely was the star of that film. Really well done and really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen Wanted, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. Now, when it comes to the conclusion to Mr. Crumb in this awesome film that McAvoy brought to life in Split, it was so awesome. It was so amazing. Oh my god, he topped himself from Split in this, bringing out even more characters that we didn't get to see in the first film and get to see in this one. I mean, he is so amazing at portraying and being different characters, and you really thought he really was those characters. That's just how awesome he was. I can't say enough how amazing McAvoy was as this character, how I really enjoyed him, how buff he got for the role, and how awesome looking he looked, and just how much he kicked butt in these films. Really great performance, really well done, and really enjoyed him in the film series. And just a really great actor. Amazing actor, probably one of my top 10 favorite actors of all time. He really is amazing, and really enjoyed him, and he should definitely get some, good, vibes and good, say-sos about this role, because he just was so sticking good in it. I hope he gets some Oscar, or Golden Globe nominations or something for this season that's come for the next season, not the one that just happened. Hopefully he will get the recognition he deserves, because he was so awesome. Really well done, really great. Definitely really awesome. So if you're not familiar with what Glass is about, like I said, Glass is the third film in an awesome series that's in this trilogy that started with Unbreakable, and then had Split, and then this is the final film in the series. And basically this film brings about basically the culmination of both films, and basically what's happened to James McAvoy's character, Bruce Willis' character, and Samuel Jackson's character. And basically this one's bringing all that together and giving it a great climactic conclusion to those two stories that we already have seen. And so basically this film shows basically what happens to them, what they have to go through, what they're trying to accomplish, and basically this kind of other mysterious group of people that we really don't know much about, that we're kind of introduced to in this film as well. So that was an interesting part of the symposium as well. And basically, like I said, that's it. All comes to what the climactic conclusion of what Unbreakable and Split started, and this is the final end. And that's pretty much what this film's about. Like I said, amazing film, really well done, really enjoyed it. Saw it with my girlfriend and her sister, and my girlfriend, as soon as we got out of it, she was like, was fantastic, she said. She was, like, blown away by that. And that's kind of, she's not really always like that about movies, so that's always a big encouragement to me when she really likes a movie like that. So that shows that it really is something amazing and awesome. So I was really impressed by it, too, myself. Like I said, I didn't care for the ending. I was very sad by it, but still a really great movie. Great performances by all involved, and really well done by M.Night. He did such an amazing job with this film and this whole trilogy, and really brought back his A game, from like when he did Sixth Sense and The Village and Signs and stuff like that, and Unbreakable. This is one of his, I feel, best films that he's done in a long time. This and Split were so fantastic together, and are just a great film. Great job by M. Night. Really great film. Definitely go check it out in theaters now, people. Really awesome. Worth the watch and really fun. So that brings us to the end of this movie review. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. And also, thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, if you've been here before and you haven't hit that subscribe button, do I have to get Wendell Crumb again to get you to push the button? Come on, people. Hit that button so you don't miss this awesome video or the awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any old or newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, people, check out the awesome Stardust app, where you can watch 3 to 30-second little mini reviews of TV shows, trailers, movies, documentaries, anything your heart desires. And also, this awesome app is constantly updating with awesome, contests and polls and all kinds of cool stuff. So that's something that interests you. Go ahead and download it for free in your respective Play Store. Look for me under the Cybernetic 13 or the Cybernetic Shark. Follow me and I'll follow you back. As always, people, catch you in the next one.